Hey, welcome to the DFS Build main slate NFL DFS breakdown for the Week 16 slate over at DraftKings. If you're going to play at DraftKings and you want to win, I think this video will be helpful to you. If you want extra advice for the week, you can hit up dfsbuild.com, just $5.99 a month for all the NFL content, plus daily NBA DFS picks that we put out. Pretty good value. If you want free advice, just keep watching this video. We're going to go over every single team, Taylor and I, even though he's not pictured there. He is here, both in spirit and really. And there he is. And we're going to go over every team real quick and see which players we like, whether it be cash games or tournaments. And then at the end here, we'll follow up with a mini build where we'll kind of try to agree on a core, so to speak, and then see what the optimal lineup looks like around that little core. If anything we do here helps you out, please help us out by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. And of course, you can join our Discord, which is 100% free. You can come in, talk shop, share your lineups, and ask advice as much as your heart desires. All right, let's get to it. First game of the week here, Bengals and Dolphins in Miami. Tua has been benched. Cincy has no reason to care about life anymore, especially if you're Joe Burrow. They are 5-point favorites with a nice 47.5 total. Jamar Chase is there. Joe Burrow is there. Chase Brown is there. I got no issue getting to any of those three guys. But don't really have a lean as like a priority. I guess it'd be Chase, but they all look good.
Yeah, they're fine. It's a good matchup and all that. Just kind of hard to know like what they're going to look like. They did not look like they gave a shit last week.
No.
And nothing to play for. Burrow seems pretty disenchanted by the whole situation.
That's a good word for it.
Like this.
Right.
But after last week, it's like they clearly don't have anything to play for. So how confident can you be? Like, it's a good spot for Chase Brown, but P. Ryan's kind of playing a lot of snaps, which is annoying. Burrow doesn't care. I think Chase by himself is fine. Like, it's a great matchup. No Minka Fitzpatrick, I believe, for Miami. So matchup boost for him, especially because he plays out of the slot a lot. So I think like you can always justify Chase, but he is more expensive now. T. Higgins should be back. Not really into that. 6,600. Like, there's a chance they score 45 points and win you a tournament. So like they're worth keeping in mind for multi-entry stacks and stuff. But overall, kind of a tough scene.
Yeah, certainly there is that narrative, like especially in a game that is so physical and demanding like football. I think it's a more pronounced thing than other sports at times. The fact that Jamar Chase is chalky, that's cause for pause. Then if you want to, lean into that a little bit, I'm not that worried about P. Ryan. I think when you play Chase or if you have him in like fantasy leagues, it's annoying because you see P. Ryan getting a lot more touches than you would think. But he's been really rock steady. 16 plus fantasy points in all these games, 20 plus touches in most of them. Even with P. Ryan cutting into the overall volume, he is still a great play at 6'9", in my opinion. And like, you can talk me into him, Joe Burrow, and Chase. It just all comes back to, do they give a shit? Are they going to be motivated? Will they even play the whole game? Like, every time you have teams that don't have any incentive to actually push themselves, if a guy gets hurt, he's coming out. If the game gets out of hand, those guys are coming out. Like, it's just more risky than it normally would be. So on paper, they do look really, really good. Miami is not a defense we should be afraid of. The Steelers, who are not very good, just put up 28 points against them. And they also have nothing to play for. So on the other side, there is Achane. His ownership is way down because they benched Tua. And when there's splits from last year when Tua was there, when Tua wasn't there. When Tua was there, he was a god because they had to respect the passing game. And when Tua was not there, he was very average and, in fact, very much below average for most of the time. So on one hand, paying almost $9K for Devon Achane in the setting that we don't really want to see him in is scary. But the Bengals are like the best possible matchup. And he's at home, and he's not owned. So call me crazy, but I kind of love Achane here.
Yeah, there's no real reason not to. It's not like Tua's any good. So I don't know. I like Quinn Ewers isn't good either, but I don't think it's like a huge step down necessarily. Like Tua, nothing has gone right for him all season, and the offense has just sucked the whole time. But Achane has been the bright spot. He's going to be heavily involved. quick dump offs, things like that. They've been kind of a run heavy team to begin with. So I really like it too if he's not going to be owned. Like if people are scared away just because of viewers, like I have no issue going to him. Cincinnati's also like fucking awful against tight ends, so I think you can make a case for Darren Waller.
Yep.
3,500 if he's in, like don't mind that. Pretty limited volume, but he does make the most of it. Rookie quarterback and all that, but the price is right on him. But other than that, I'm not paying 6.8 for Waddle with a rookie QB in there. So
no.
HN I like, Waller I'm okay with, and that's it.
Yeah, man. Waddle's a big no thanks. If he gets there, whatever, almost 7K Waddle burns me. I'm willing to live with that. Bengals are equal opportunity sad sacks against everybody. Third worst against fantasy quarterbacks, dead last against running backs, really bad against tight ends, dead last there as well. So, I mean, I talked about Waller earlier in the week, loving him at that price. He's coming off a 27-point fantasy outing. He's had multiple games with touchdowns, multiple 2-touchdown games, I believe. And it's just everything about this matchup looks good. Like, am I going to go play 4K Quinn Ewers and hope that he nukes? No, not really. I think you can because he's so cheap and the Bengals are so bad that he actually could get there. Like, he can get there by throwing like 2-yard touchdowns to Waller or dumping it off to Achane and letting him run 60 yards, you know? Like, he doesn't need to be amazing. The guys around him just need to be amazing. And that's not that unrealistic. So, I weirdly feel a little bit better about the Miami side of this, especially since nobody is going to be on it. But I don't want Waddle. I think paying a premium for Waddle when we saw what bad quarterback play can do to somebody like Justin Jefferson, and Waddle had a lot of floor games even with Tua. So that's where I stand there. All right, so Buccaneers and Panthers. This is actually a very big game in Carolina, 45.5 total. And this game is temporarily for the NFC South title. These guys play again, so who knows? But on paper here, Bucky Irving looks great. Mike Evans looks great. Baker Mayfield looks great. All three of those guys are guys I want to get to a lot. Emeka Egbuka and Chris Godwin are okay. But Mike Evans was force-fed the ball in his first game back, 12 targets. The Panthers are not a very scary defense across the board. And, you know, it's a huge game, and the Buccaneers have been kind of slouchy, losing to Atlanta and New Orleans. I think the Buccaneers are going to step up, have a big game. I like a lot of Bucky, a lot of Evans. And, like, Baker's not really a priority because I like guys underneath him, but I think that's a pretty good price on him.
Yeah, it's a good price on all of them. Evans for 6.3, Bucky under 7K still. Snap count's been kind of annoying with Rashad White still getting a lot of work and Sean Tucker getting goal line work and stuff.
Yep.
So there are a lot of paths to failure for Bucky. I'm not super into it. I'm not super into any of this, actually. Like, I just think there are better spots to target, especially in the later games. The late window has some pretty good stuff. I'm just not psyched about it. Like, Tampa Bay's offense has not looked good for a long time now. A lot of mouths to feed. Like, you know, Evans looks good. He got a lot of targets last week, but Ibuka's still there. Godwin's still there. Auden on occasion still there. So it's kind of unpredictable. Like, it gives you confidence seeing the Evans targets from last week, but that doesn't mean anything for this week. And, you know, Carolina's defense is really not that bad. So I feel like Tampa Bay is fine. Like, it's an okay total. I'm just more confident in targeting other spots on this slate.
Totally fair. On the other side, we have Bryce Young, Tet McMillan. They look awesome in this matchup. The Buccaneers have been pretty bad defensively on the season. Bottom 5 against fantasy quarterbacks. Bottom 5 over the last 4 weeks against fantasy quarterbacks. I kind of like Bryce Young at 5.1K, unowned. Tet at 5.8 is way too cheap for the ceiling he has in a really good matchup. He looks awesome at 5.8. Jalen Coker at 4.4. That looks like a pretty good value. I don't mind that. Risky. Not going to be high volume, really. And then, of course, you can always go back to Rico. They're kind of splitting work with him and Hubbard. So I'm not as excited about him as I would be like 4 weeks ago. For me, mostly, like I'm really forcing Tet into a lot of lineups. And if I get to a stack with Bryce, I'm okay with it. It's mostly Tet, but I think there's a lot more to like here than normal.
Yeah, I'm not really there either. Like McMillan has had a very infrequent ceiling. I like him. I like the price tag. I like the role in general, but touchdowns have been kind of hard to come by. Jalen Coker's getting a lot of attention from Bryce Young these days. I think individually they're okay, like one-offs. I don't really want to stack Carolina with Bryce Young. Again, like I'm just more confident in other spots. Like the Panthers have 7 wins or whatever. I have no idea how that happened. I do not believe in this offense at all. So I feel like, yeah, they're fine. Like both the receivers offer individual upside. Coker in particular for 4-4 is pretty appealing. But overall, I'm just not really getting excited about this, especially because McMillan, I don't think, is going to be like under-owned. I'm assuming he'll be appropriately owned.
I mean,
And I just think
11%.
he's kind of a neutral play overall.
We disagree. 11% doesn't seem egregious to me, and I wouldn't be that shocked if it's a little bit lower. But yeah, totally fair. I mean, Panthers and Buccaneers are not necessarily predictable or safe teams right now, but I think they are in really good spots with a lot to play for. Bills in Cleveland, they are projected to be 11-point favorites here. Still, like Browns defense has really caved lately. In theory, with Myles Garrett there, like it still is not like the funnest draw in the world. I would imagine Josh Allen, James Cook get theirs. This just doesn't feel like the week where I want to invest in them heavily, though.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good spot for Cook. 7,700. The role has been monstrous for him. And Cleveland's defense has kind of mailed it in. Like they're trying to get Myles Garrett's sack record. And I read that he's like lining up a little more outside than normal in an attempt to just kind of rack up individual numbers at the expense of the defense as a whole.
That's insane.
So pretty good spot for Cook. I always want to like Josh Allen. Like 72 is okay. It's just impossible to stack him. So I'm just kind of giving up on that. And if you want to play him naked, I'm okay with that. If you want to play him with Kincaid, sure. Not playing him with any receivers, though. There's just no point in chasing that. I don't think there's enough upside on any of the receivers to bother with it. So Cook, I think, is my favorite. Buffalo's defense is fine if you land on that at 3-5. But again, like this is just kind of a team that's difficult to stack, so don't really want to stack it.
Yeah, to aid your case, Cook coming off a massive 34-point fantasy outing, 20 plus in 4 of his last 5, and the Browns' once vaunted run defense is 5th worst over the last 4 weeks. So I don't disagree. I think blowout risk and pricing is probably going to keep me off these guys a little bit, but you can always play Josh Allen, and it looks like the matchup is actually not that bad for Cook either. You said that already. All right, so the other side, Cleveland, Shadir Sanders, 4.6, Harold Frander, 4.5. I mean, they're going to be throwing a lot. In theory, the Bills' run defense is atrocious. So Quinshad Judkins, in theory, at 6K could have a good game here. I'm not going to pay to find out. I think Fannin at that ownership is something I probably will get away from, but I see why people would want to play him because they're going to be playing from behind. And I don't really want to mess with Shadir Sanders or Jerry Jeudy. I just feel like this is a big avoid overall.
Yeah, Fannin's like the tight end 3 since Sanders took over. So the role has been pretty strong for him. 4-5 is getting up there for a tight end, but in general, really not pricey. So I'm okay with it. Buffalo's defense has been pretty miserable for a while. So I think it's an attackable spot. In general, I don't want to play Cleveland. Like they have a team total that's like 16. So, like I said earlier, there are a lot of spots to target where you can be more confident in points being scored than this. So I understand it. I'm okay with Fannin by himself. Probably not playing Judkins. I just think he's been pretty shaky for a while. And he can erupt. He's got a role, but he's not really like super cheap at 6K. So it's really just Fannin. Cleveland's defense is 2,200. So if you want to take a shot on that, and maybe Myles Garrett racks up 8 sacks in this game and gets there for you, but yeah,
doubtful.
Not exciting.
All right, next up, Chargers in Dallas. This game was a 49.5 total. Obviously, the Cowboys defense reverted back to being utter ass. They couldn't stop J.J. McCarthy, so that's kind of all you need to know. Sign me up for Justin Herbert. The only thing that keeps me off of Herbert really is there's a lot of value at quarterback. But Herbert looks great. Not going to be owned for whatever reason. Marion Hampton looks good at sub 6K. Lad McConkey's been really, really bad, but I still like him a lot in this game. Quentin Johnson's questionable, which could prompt us to look at Keenan Allen. Somebody in Discord was like, should I play Keenan Allen 4-8? And I looked at the game log and I was like, maybe. I don't know. I think in a vacuum, especially if QJ's out, Keenan would be very viable. I do like Ladd a lot more. Just feel like he's safer, which is funny because he has not been safe. And then Rondé Godston at 4.1 looks pretty damn good as well. Lots to like here. Dallas's defense is back to being poop.
Yeah, but the Chargers offense is also kind of poop.
Yeah, but they don't have Quinnen Williams for this game either. I mean, it's going to be a fucking shootout, dude. It's going to be a shootout.
It might not be. I mean, like,
that's true.
The Chargers have the worst offensive line in the entire league right now.
R.I.P. Joe Alt.
Yeah. So, and Herbert's, banged up a little bit. The targets are always kind of scattered. If QJ is in, they got 4 guys capable of getting there for you, but good luck picking which 4.
Look at this.
They've been very run heavy with the state of their offensive line and their quarterback playing with a broken hand. So
yeah, it's not good.
I feel like it's kind of a trap. I think this game in general is kind of a threat to go under. Like, I know the Dallas defense is bad. Anything can happen. But the LA offense is so spread out that, like, I'm fine with Gadsden just because it's tight end. But Keenan Allen's been awful. Lad McConkey is still kind of pricey for how mediocre he's been. Trey Harris is cheap. So if QJ is out, Trey Harris, I think, is an okay punt at 3-3. But I don't really want to play Herbert because I don't know who to play him with. And then the running backs are kind of shaky just because they're still splitting snaps. Vidal is a better blocker. And because their offensive line is awful, they kind of need him out there, which kind of makes me skittish on Hampton. So again, good spot, high total, close spread. I just don't know who to play. So I feel like I'd rather take a shot on Arizona shit just because I know where the ball's going.
Well, I definitely still like Arizona shit. Hey, but even with those concerns, Hampton's still getting 15-plus touches in these games since he got back. Here's the thing, though. It's only trappy, in my opinion, if it's owned. If everybody's playing them and you're like, there's reason to not fucking do that, then sure. But they're not owned at all. And Dallas is a great spot in a dome, bad defense, great get-right spot for a struggling offense that is going to probably be in the playoffs. So they need to get it going here. I like the Chargers a lot, and apparently the field does not, and that makes me more excited. I mean, Herbert with Ladd looks good. Hampton looks good. These guys are cheap. Like I don't even need to play Herbert because I like Jacoby a lot. We'll get to him. There's other values. I don't really need to pay 6K Herbert. But if I can just get the matchup and hopeful volume out of Ladd and the touchdown equity out of Hampton, I think those are great plays, especially at ownership right now. No ownership, sub 5%, sub or 6% here. Not everywhere. I'm not saying you have to fire them up across the board, but I'm going to be way over for sure. And like you said, Gadsden 4-1, let's just play Gadsden instead of chalky ass Harold Fannin, I mean, that sounds a lot better to me. Dallas, it's not as good of a matchup for Dallas. Dallas has been really good, one of the best offenses in football, but they'll randomly just lay an egg. I would imagine this is a good spot for them to get it going at home. It's still not an elite matchup or anything. Chargers defense is pretty good. But if you want to fire up,
It's a pretty bad matchup, I think.
No, that's what I was saying. It's not that good of a matchup. But they project well here, and they are a high-volume passing offense. So Dak, CD, Pickens, I think for DFS purposes, I think that's actually still pretty appealing. I will say CD, I think, is sick, and Pickens seems disinterested as shit. So I'm not actually that excited to play them, and they're all kind of Dak's a little bit expensive, so I don't want to play Dak. But I think if nobody's going to be on CD and Pickens, we can go over a little bit for sure, especially if we do end up playing Chargers. And by we, I mean me.
It is a worse matchup on paper, but at least the Dallas offense, where it's going for the most part.
Yeah.
Javonte at 6'4", I feel like is kind of a good price. Steady roll for him, red zone work, all of it, if he's in, of course, which it seems like he will be. I think he could have returned last week and he didn't, but should be good to go this time, I think. Not a good spot for Pickens. The Chargers kind of give it up over the middle, so I do think it is a really good kind of sneaky CeeDee Lamb spot. If he's healthy, if he's playing through an illness tag, I'm not that excited about it, but I think if he's not very owned for 78, there's pretty big upside on CD. So,
Yeah.
Pickens can always erupt. I'm more likely to bank on Lamb just because of the matchup. And, you can play Dak. You can always play Dak, but like you said, there's cheaper stuff at QB that looks a little better.
Yeah. Pickens just seems like disinterested. I think you can play Pickens. There's a ceiling there, like you said. I'm just not really into that. For 500 more, I'm going CD all the way. I'm not really aggressively getting to this team. I want to say that first and foremost. But anytime a pass volume offense like this with a total like this is going completely overlooked, I think we should have a little bit of interest. Worth noting, the Javonte role is great, but they don't really run that much. And the Chargers have the number one defense over the last 4 weeks against fantasy running backs. Just throwing that out there. All right, Jets and Saints. This is going to be weirdly a popular game. That is gross. Jets defense is going to be popular because they're cheap and they're facing a rookie quarterback. I do kind of like that. Brees Hall is going to get some ownership at sub 6K against the Saints. I'm okay with it, but he's had under 10 fantasy points in each of his last 2 games, and he's playing with Brady Cook. So it's really just Jets defense or nothing for me. I don't have a lot of interest in New York.
Yeah, there's not a lot to like. I think AD Mitchell still at 4-5 has some upside just because he's played a pretty big role for this team. But rookie quarterback, not a highly touted rookie quarterback. Brees Hall is like always appealing in theory, and then you play him and you're underwhelmed every single time.
Yep.
The role's good. The price is good. The matchup's good.
Yeah.
So I get it, and I'm probably going to play him a little bit. But in general, I'm not really dying to get to the Jets. I think the defense, like you said, is a pretty good punt. But, yeah, they have like an 18-ish team total. So
seems
not
bad.
Super into it. Yeah.
Look at his face there. He even looks like, I wouldn't blame me.
He's like, man, I've been on the Jets for a long time, dude.
Save me. Yeah, I think it's the same thing every time with Brees. It's like you feel stupid when he goes off because you don't play him at sub 6K, but then the other 90% of the time you play him and he gets you maybe 15 fantasy points. Is that winning you anything? No.
Nope.
So that's why I feel like guys like that are very easy fades. It's the same thing with Harold Fannin. 20+% owned Fannin. Prices come up to 4.5. It's not really that good of a matchup. The only thing you're looking at is volume, and like he's going to probably need to score a touchdown if he's going to hit at that ownership, So those are the kind of things where I'm like, I'll go do something else. Tyler Shuck, I'm wondering if he will ever change his name so it makes sense. But also I'm wondering if he ends up being chalky, because obviously the Jets just gave up a career performance to Trevor Lawrence last week. I'm hoping everybody thinks that's what's going to happen with Tyler Shuck. I think I said Tanner Shuck again. I'm hoping that's what people think is going to happen and just go stack up Saints because I think they'll be disappointed. Number one, because I want to play that 2.1K Jets defense. Number two, because they are the Saints and they're not reliable. So why are we trusting them? Audric Esteem with, what's his name? Devin Neal out. I guess there's something there. Not into that. I don't think there's a big ceiling because Evan Hull is going to be worked in a little bit too. You can talk me into Tyler Shuck and Chris Olave, Juwan Johnson. Like, they're okay. But if they do end up getting steamed, that's a big no for me.
I don't know. I kind of like it. Like,
I know. I feel like a lot of people are going to like it. I feel like the ownership's going to shift greatly.
I still don't think the Saints are ever really going to be prohibitively popular, just because, in general, I don't think people are excited to play them.
Right.
Shuck seems pretty good. He's running the ball.
Yeah.
He's forcing it to Olave, which we like. Juwan Johnson heavily involved again. Taysom Hill, not so much, but he's always a threat to ruin everything. But the rushing stuff gives Shuck a pretty decent floor. And he's more expensive now, but, he's not a threat to get benched. They're playing in a dome. The Jets have fully given up pretty clearly. So, I'm not excited to play it either, but I think it's pretty condensed to the point where it's a good stack and you can kind of build however you want around it, with Olave being the only one who's like expensive at all. So like the passing stuff, not really into the running back situation. You can get to estimate if you want. Probably not for me though.
Yeah, estimate. I said esteem like an ass.
Also,
okay, so
Devon Valet is out, so things kind of condense even further with Olave and Johnson in theory.
Please, Lord, let them get the ball to Mason Tipton. Yeah, like I agree. I think in a vacuum, Chuck, Olave, Juan are all fine plays. Maybe I'm just very biased because I like other values at quarterback way more, and I feel like paying a premium for Olave feels bad. All right, Minnesota. This is one of the ones.
Good, and the targets have been very consistent. He's a good player.
I know. I believe. Yeah. I'm a believer. Yeah. All right, so Minnesota 3-point favorites against the Giants. This game has kind of a weirdly low 43.5 total. Not really sure why, because the Giants defense is butt. Which is why I actually like JJ McCarthy. Don't say it. JJ McCarthy looks really, really good. 20 plus fantasy points in the last two. He does have that rushing floor. He's playing with confidence. He's not even 5K. And he's not chalk. Oh, yeah, buddy. I like me some JJ McCarthy. And I don't care who knows. Chalky Aaron Jones, that's not that exciting to me. Chalky TJ Hawkinson, not that exciting. I'm willing to pay and play into ownership for Jettas, though. I think this is the week Justin Jefferson finally gets going. He had a touchdown called back last week, and he had 8 targets, which was his most in like 4 games. I love JJ and Jetta's stacks.
I think
what say you, sir?
Is a strong word.
Well, it is. You're right. But I do.
The Giants have allowed the most rushing yards to quarterbacks, which is worth noting for McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
4,900, still cheap. Yeah, I see why you'd like him. Jefferson at 6K looks like a misprint, but it's like, am I even?
I mean, he's been bad. I'm not.
Play him anyway?
I'm not sugarcoating it. Okay, he's been really bad.
Yeah,
but that's not going to go on forever.
Maybe once they change quarterbacks, it won't.
No, McCarthy's actually legitimately looked good lately. I'm telling you,
he's not good.
I don't know if he's not good or not. He's basically a rookie quarterback. It's fine.
Good.
It's fine. Good. Doesn't matter. It's DFS. The Giants are such butt. It doesn't matter. So Jefferson is going to go off in this game. I promise you. I'm playing him everywhere at 6K. He's 6K. If not now, win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, based on his production, he should possibly be less. He could be overpriced.
Yeah.
I understand. Like, you're banking on the talent winning out, which it hasn't. The quarterback talent is lacking.
For like 7 weeks.
I think, it's a worthy gamble. He can get you 30 in theory.
In theory.
I think I'm more interested in McCarthy alone. Like, I think there's enough other stuff to like to where you can take the savings at quarterback and then pay up into more secure spots, just because, we've seen Naylor pop up. Jordan Addison's still there in theory. Hawkinson is still there. Hawkinson's 3K flat. I think that's kind of interesting also.
I mean, I like that chalk more than I like Harold Fannin chalk.
Both seem questionable to me. But yeah,
I'd rather pay
3K for shitty play than 4 or 5 for a shitty play.
Oh, there's a tight end. There's 2 tight ends that I like more than anything else on this slate. So we'll get to them. Don't want this bullshit punt stuff.
Yeah, I think McCarthy's fine. That's about it. Like, I understand why you take Jefferson. I probably will, but I'm not excited about it.
Hey, fair. I'm with you. I get it. But I'm taking a stand. My stand of the week, if in case we don't recap with the stand of the week, it's fucking Mark McCarthy and Jettas. All right, so Jackson Dart, unowned Jackson Dart. That's pretty appealing. Vikings defenses look pretty damn good the last 2 weeks, and they are good, like, fundamentally. Brian Flores is a great DC. So Dart being a rookie, he has flashed like a floor, recently. Not the week I really want to play him, but unowned with the ceiling he possesses, like last week, 26 fantasy points or 23 fantasy points, 23 plus on 3 of his last 4. You can play Jackson Dart. He's always in play. Wan'Dale Robinson as a stacker on his own thanks to PPR value. I think that's fine. Not really that into anything else, although Theo Johnson at 3.7, not the worst tight end punt out there.
Yeah, like Jackson Dart's fine. I just hate playing him and getting the inevitable Jackson Dart heads to medical tent or heads to locker room suite, which happens every fucking game.
Yeah, there is that risk. There is.
So I don't know. I'm probably not doing it this week.
I'm not.
Brissett's going to be chalk in that range, and I would just rather do that.
Yep.
Mr. Automatic, Jacoby Brissett.
Yep.
Giants defense, 2,600 against a bad QB. Don't mind that. I think it's kind of a sneaky Tyrone Tracy spot. Minnesota teams have been running on Minnesota pretty consistently all season. He's kind of on the right end of the split with Singletary. Touchdown upside here, I think. I don't mind Tracy at what should be very low ownership. But I'm not excited to pay 62 for Wan'Dale or anything else.
Yeah, I played him in Dynasty last week, and he had his best game of the season. So that was cool. All right. I'm not really in love with the Giants. I think all those guys are fine. Dart, Tracy, Wan'Dale, Theo, they're fine. But they're just not priorities for me this week. KC with no Mahomes, Gardner, Minshew, 4.5K against the Titans. Shadir Sanders once put 39 fantasy points on this Tennessee defense, I've been told. So in the name of that, you can play 4.5K Gardner Minshew. I don't think he has that great of a ceiling. So I don't think like the savings are really as appealing as they might be on another slate. And I just like other plays better. But I could see why you would be interested in playing him. Xavier Worthy, if Hollywood Brown is out, I suppose, and Rashee Rice isn't going to play. So Xavier Worthy, in theory, gets a lot of volume. He's been really bad, though. And I don't know why we're suddenly thinking Mahomes tearing his ACL is going to unlock it. But 4.4K is really cheap. In theory, he's an explosive player. The Titans are bad. All these things lead to him being a pretty good play. Travis Kelce at 4.7. Sounds like a guy ready to retire. So maybe they pad his stats so he can go out in a blaze of glory. But honestly, I don't love it. I don't love KC at all.
Not much to love. I think Kelce is a pretty good play.
He's fine.
He's kind of chasing some career milestones, and with nothing else to play for, they might as well help him get
force feed him the ball. Do you know what those are?
Oh, fucking A. Putting me on the spot.
Like, is he going after because if he's 2 catches away from 900 career catches or something like that, that would be meaningless. By the way, CD is a little bit away from 1,000 yards. Jefferson's a little bit away from 1,000 yards. Not both their coaches, but I know CD's an egomaniac, so he definitely wants to get 1,000 yards. Whereas Jefferson's coach has said they will go out of their way to make sure he gets 1,000 yards on the year.
So Kelce is 99 yards away from passing Jason Witten for second among tight ends in NFL history. And he's 203 yards away from 1,000 this season for the 8th time. So amazing stuff. 99 yards over 3 games is pretty attainable. Doesn't have to do it all this week.
Well, the 200 to get 1,000, that's not necessarily. If I were them and you wanted to get both of those, I would be pretty aggressive in targeting him.
Yeah, and it's a good spot, and he's cheap enough, I guess.
I don't mind it. I think he's. Yeah, I know. He's 30, 36, but I think he's kind of a better play than Worthy, though.
He's a better play than Worthy, and he's a better play than Fannin at the ownerships that they have.
Yep. I think. Well, yeah, I agree. I pray that is all you have to say about Casey.
You're right. It is all.
All right. So Tennessee, we shouldn't have to say much here. I will say one thing. Tony Pollard has been a god lately, but apparently we found out the Browns defense is garbage now. So that 31-point fantasy outburst, maybe not as impressive as it was. Still, he followed it up with 21 fantasy points against 49ers at 16-plus touches, 100-plus total yards in 2 straight games. Now he gets the Chiefs, who have nothing to play for, and the Tennessee Titans are at home. He's only 5.4 and not owned. I don't actually mind chasing this a little bit and seeing if this is one of those weird 4 or 5 game stretches where a guy just goes off at the end of the year because we're in the midst of it. If it's here, it's already here, and he's only 5'4". I don't hate it.
Yeah, I get it. Probably not doing it, but I get it. I think Tennessee's $2,500 defense is okay with Gardner Minshew on the other side.
Yeah.
And I don't want to mess with anything else. Like Gunnar Helm's not really playing enough snaps despite his production, and the other stuff sucks. Cam Ward looks a little better, but still really no upside at all. And it's not like a great matchup. So no thank you.
No, if I was going to do that, I would just play Minshew instead. Jacksonville, they looked really, really good last week. I don't think they're going to look as good on the road against the Broncos, so I'm really not psyched to pay to find out. It doesn't look like they're going to be owned, so there's that. And by the way, Denver's defense, while very, very good, number one in red zone defense, number one in pass rate or sack rate, they did like Packers moved the ball on them all game in that last game. So if the Jaguars take what they did last week and bring it over here, they could be a little bit sneaky. But I just don't think this is where I want to, play with it.
Yeah, they're all pricey. Brian Thomas is not, but he's also not been very good. I think you can make a case for Jacoby Myers just given the volume he's getting, but enough other spots to where I don't really want to mess with Denver's defense.
Yeah, I would imagine Surtain will be draping BTJ, so that would take him out of the equation for me. I think I'd be with you. If I did anything here, it would be Strange at 3.9 or Jacoby at 5.5, just because I think Jacoby will probably get away from Surtain. But you just never know. Like they might just be like, I'm gonna put Surtain on, Jacoby to limit their best possession guy. So it's just a situation to avoid. On the other side, fairly palatable matchup for the Broncos here. RJ Harvey looks good at 6'2". Bo Nix looks good at 6'1". Sutton at 5'7". I'm not like really getting to them, but I see why people would. I think the matchup is pretty decent at home. They've won 11 straight games, shooting for 12. They're kind of a spread out offense. It's really hard to know who's going to really pop, but I think they're all priced, well enough that like I'm not afraid to try them. Broncos at 3.2 feels like a pretty good value as far as paying for a defense and not paying like an arm and a leg. So I don't hate them at all.
Yeah, it's all okay. Like Sutton and Nix are in the mid-range. Harvey's in the mid-range. You kind of ran it down. I think those three are playable. I think you can try Pat Bryant, given his increased volume in a large field setting.
He's questionable, just an FYI.
Yeah, it's not a fun team. Evan Ingram revenge, not really.
I was just going to say 2.9K revenge. He's been bad, though, so it's tough.
He sure has. Sutton, I think, is a fine one-off.
Sure.
If you don't want to play him with Bo Nix. But, yeah, it's hard. Like, I'm really not finding myself liking a whole lot on the slate so far, but we haven't gotten to the Cardinals yet.
That's because you need to come over to the dark side and get into this Minnesota Charger stuff with me. All right, here we go to the game that you wanted to talk about the most. Bijan leads the way for the Falcons. Very chalky. Again, I get it. Great play. Achane pivot is the way for me. But Bijan looks really good. If you want to play Bijan, Cardinals have been bad against fantasy running backs, I believe. Let me just double check. Yeah, bottom 5. That counts as bad. Kirk Cousins, reborn last week on Thursday Night Football. 33 fantasy points. Was it Thursday or Monday?
Thursday.
Yeah, 33 fantasy points. Played like a god. Made everybody think, oh, maybe he's not washed. Kyle Pitts was even more of a god. 50 fantasy points. Guess what? I faced him in Dynasty. It was really fun. Drake London might be back, so that will dilute the Kyle Pitts hype, but make Kirk Cousins still a decent value. Not super psyched to pay $7K for Drake in his first game back. Pitts, by the way, was on the injury report as well. So $5K for a guy that just went for 50 fantasy points, against the Cardinals defense that's bottom 10 against fantasy tight ends. I think that's not bad. Like, I would be interested in that as long as he's a full go. But the return of Drake kind of, pushes that down in terms of priority.
Yeah, it feels like the ultimate Kyle Pitts spot. Like, we've been waiting years for this, and it finally happened. And now he gets an awesome matchup. He's still, I mean, he's not cheap, but he's also not 6K. He's only 5K.
Right.
Offense has been pretty condensed. Like even with London back, I think it's going to be mostly London and Pitts in the receiving game.
Sure.
So given the nature of tight end in general, like I'm probably going back to Pitts, and I fully expect it to fail miserably, but it is a good spot if he's in, even with London in. I think Bijan's like always fine. You can't really poke any holes in that case this week. There's always Algier lurking, vulturing touchdowns, but yeah, I think the Falcons defense, if you're not playing the Arizona stuff, is playable, but probably not Kirk Cousins. I'd rather just play McCarthy for 100 more.
Same. He gives you that rushing floor that Kirk cannot. On the other side, Trey McBride just put up 40 fantasy points against the Texans, which is disgusting and insane. And he's still not expensive enough. He is a wide receiver one. I keep saying this. He is a wide receiver one, and he's $1,000 cheaper than Jamar Chase. And the next, wide receiver who I can't remember the other guy who's like 8'4" on the slate. Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's an awesome play once again. Are the Falcons really good against fantasy tight ends? I think they're actually not bad. Oh, they're number 2. Oops. So matchup wise, it sucks, but guess what? He just put 40 on the Texans. Do I have to keep saying it? Like, geez. So he's very playable once again. Apparently, very matchup proof. Michael Wilson has a better matchup, but if you look at the prices, I would much rather just play McBride. Jacoby is the real play here, though, and you're probably going to want to stack one of those guys with him. But Jacoby just prints money. This is insane. By the way, This isn't just this is every start of the season he's had 20 plus fantasy points. I feel like it's right around here where we're like, is this going to drop off? It might, maybe, no. Even against the Rams and the Texans, I damn sure I'm not going to get off this hype wagon at 5-3 against the Falcons.
I don't understand why he's 5'3".
No.
He should be 6,500 at least.
He should be like 7K.
Come down.
At some point, you just need to just accept the production and he needs to be 7K.
Yeah.
But he's not, so let's play him everywhere.
Yeah, and the targets are so condensed without Harrison. Like,
right.
It's going to Wilson, it's going to McBride.
That's it.
And that's it. Double-digit targets are like guaranteed for both. The one thing about this game is that, the last few weeks they've played Houston. They've been like the Rams. They've been pretty sizable underdogs, so there is a lot of garbage time helping out Brissett. And that's not a lock in this game. I think they're like 3-point underdogs. So they're still underdogs, but like it could be a closer game. Could be slower paced if it really is a close game. But the production is so condensed and the salaries are still so attackable, especially with Brissett, that it's hard to get away from. It's going to be very owned, I think, but it is a pretty big slate. So probably still not looking at like extreme chalk. I think Brissett himself could be the chalkiest QB on the slate. I don't know how many people are going to actually play the double with it, but I would be inclined to do that. Michael Carter as a mid-range running back, same price as Tony Pollard. Seems like, he's kind of taken over the backfield. They don't want to give DeMercado a lot of carries and stuff. Don't really feel great about that, but it is a good matchup, and the price tag's pretty good.
Yeah, okay with it. Not really going to get there personally. I have no qualms with full stacking Brissett, Trey, and Wilson together, and then you can go get Bijan if you want to eat that chalk. You can go get Pitts. You can go get Drake. Whatever you want to do, or just play those 3 concentrated guys and just ignore the rest and like pivot from Bijan to Achane. A lot of combinations, but I'm starting with that trio or duo. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers are in Detroit. They're 7-point dogs against the Lions, as they should be. Rodgers at 5K with no rushing upside. Not feeling that. I will say Lions give up a lot of production through the air. and Steelers will probably be throwing and playing from behind. So I think a Rodgers DK stack or DK by himself, I think it's viable. It's just not something I'm getting to right now. I'd rather play JJ McCarthy, Kenny Gainwell, or Jalen Warren are okay, but this is not a good matchup for them.
Yeah, it's kind of just Metcalf or nothing. Don't really want Rodgers. I really don't know what kind of ceiling is there on him with the others in the same range. There's really feels like getting cute playing him.
Yeah.
They should be playing from behind, so he could get there. I don't think it's the worst large field idea, but if I'm playing small field or single entry, I'm probably not playing Rodgers. I think Metcalf's fine, but that's about it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs looks awesome. You can pair him with Bijan, play him instead of Bijan, whatever you want to do. He looks really, really good. Steelers are not a very scary defense. Not sure if they're going to have TJ Watt back or not. What are they? Actually grade out decently against the run on the year against fantasy running backs, but that doesn't matter. Gibbs can go off and get 40, 50 fantasy points, and I'm probably going to play him. Amon-Ra St. Brown went nuke mode with 46, I think it was last week. This is the preferred way to attack the Steelers through the air, so he looks really good as well. You can play him with Goff or by himself. You can play Jameson Williams if you want to. I think any of those main four guys and or a full Lions stack can just really lean into this thing because they have to win. Is perfectly viable, and I don't have a problem with any of it.
Yeah, without Laporta, they've been really condensed in the passing game too. So previously, it's well, I'll play 4 Lions and just hope to get all the production. But now you kind of only have to play Goff with 2 guys if you want. Goff is okay. He's just kind of pricey for this slate. I'm not dying to pay 6.3 for him when I could pay 5.3 for Brissett. So
Right.
The savings are useful with the other guys. I think Goff will be very low owned as a result, but I would kind of just rather pick the skill position guys individually. I think you can play Amon-Ra with Gibbs, and that'll be totally fine without having to get to Goff. So I'm expecting Gibbs to bounce back. Hopefully, was very into him last week, and that went fucking awfully. But hopefully this time he can come through. Very high total, very in on Detroit. Skill position guys, not so much Goff.
Yeah, fully agree with all of that. All right, Raiders are not a team to target on the road against the Texans. No, I will say one thing. Trey McBride showed us last week that perhaps if the volume is there, somebody like Brock Bowers at 5.6 could get there. At no ownership, we know he's an explosive player. We know he has touchdown equity when they get close to the end zone. I want nothing to do with Genti or Gino or any of the other guys, but Brock I do not mind getting to a little bit. Since you hate the Raiders,
he was 5'2" instead of 5'6". Yeah, you can.
But the fact that he is 5'6" is another reason, along with the matchup, that nobody's going to play him. So I think that as a little bit of a hammer and not really one that we have to invest heavily in. I like it a little bit. Houston, they look great. Raiders are not somebody who's going to stop you. They're 2-13. They're done with the year. Texans defense at 4K if you can afford it. That looks great. Woody Marks, if he's in, is okay. That price is getting up there. Nico and Stroud, that looks like a pretty good stack. Nico's price came up a little bit. Stroud's still a nice price. It's not really a situation I'm getting to a lot. I definitely fear the blowout. But obviously, if that does happen, these guys, Stroud, Nico, Woody, they're going to have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, it's pretty safe to assume there are points being scored here.
Yeah.
Nico, the volume hasn't been great. He got there last week. I think he only had 3 catches, but 2 of them were touchdowns. So pretty efficient.
That will do it.
75 is pretty full on Nico, but the Raiders are just fucking trash. So you can certainly do that. I think my favorite play is probably Schultz, just because he's 4,200 at tight end. I think that's a pretty attractive salary on him. Been very heavily involved. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Stroud. Not as excited about him as I was last week. Woody Marks, 6,600. Probably not. He should be okay, but is Chubb? I think Chubb is back. Is he not?
I don't think maybe, but that's not really going to move the needle for me that much. It's just a price thing. He's almost 7K. It
just seems like whenever you think Woody Marks is going to take over, they still work Chubb in there. Last week Chubb was out, and then Marks got hurt.
Look at this game though: 26 carries, 68 yards. The offensive line, the blocking, the production from the running backs, it's just not good. So like, there's touchdown equity, there's playing with a lead and all that stuff. I think he's okay, but at 6'6", I think we can do better. Do you have time to do a
6,600?
Yeah, exactly. It's just unnecessary, you know. Do you have time to do a quick build?
Why the fuck not?
Why not, indeed? Okay, so the way we're going to do this, we're going to pick 4 core plays. It doesn't mean they are like the core. It's just we're going to try to agree on our top quarterback, top running back, top wide receiver, top tight end, and we're going to run the optimizer here over at Rotor Grinders and just see what pops up. And then we'll talk about it real quick as far as what we would change. So at quarterback, what are you thinking? I'm obviously looking cheap, so I don't want to play Josh Allen and all that shit. I think we're pretty locked in on Jacoby, though, right?
Jacoby or McCarthy? Probably Jacoby.
Let's go Jacoby because that's just where I'm leaning in general, and I don't even care that he's chalky. If I want to get different, JJ is probably my top play. At running back, I think we're both pretty into those top 3 guys for sure. We want one of them. I am pretty game for this with just going with Gibbs. And then, like, if you want to get different, you can pair him with Achane or pivot to Achane. But I would play Gibbs before I mess around with Achane because it is still a volatile situation. At wide receiver, I would vote for one of those value guys like Tet or Evans, or we can file in Michael Wilson, who looks like a pretty damn good stacking option.
Yeah, I think.
Or if there's a value that you really, really like, I'm all ears. I love Jefferson. If you're into Jefferson, we can get Jefferson in here at 6K.
Nah, I think. I mean, Wilson's 6,900 with insane volume, and we're playing Brissett. I feel like we have to play him, don't we?
Yeah, especially since it doesn't seem like we're going to lock in Trey McBride at this point. Where is he on here, though? All right, I'm just going to go over here and find him. Yeah, well, I don't want to type his name. All right, so we got those guys. Let's go get our tight end. I mean, Trey McBride calls to me. But if we want to go get value, we could go.
If you put in McBride, how much? I mean, we're running low on salary at that point, but how much does it give you?
4.3 per for 5 slots.
Not great.
No.
We'll see what it gives you. Run optimize there and see what's up.
All right. As we're waiting for this to go, let's wrap things up in a sense with what is your number 1 play that you want to stand behind and get behind for this slate?
Well, I'm not going to say Kyle Pitts.
You could.
But I'm not. I can't. I cannot
Well, yeah, because if that doesn't go well, you know what though? Very similar to mine, and that's Jettas. I'm playing Justin Jefferson at 6K against the Giants. That's what I'm doing. If I want a safer conviction, it's going to be the Cardinals stack. Until that shit doesn't work, let's just do it until it's done. You know, there's nothing about the matchup with Atlanta to scare us off of that. Nothing.
I'm trying not to go extreme chalk with this. Like, he's going to be owned, but he's not going to be like 30%, I don't think. Given the volume in the matchup, I will say Chris Olave would be my conviction option.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Okay, so this is similar to what I got last time. I am very into the Jets. Sorry, Olave, RIP. But I'm very into the Jets at that price against a rookie quarterback. It is what it is. If it doesn't go well, who cares? I think at this point we'd probably have to figure something out to get a little bit different. I'm not that psyched to play Aaron Jones. He's still splitting work with Jordan Mason. That obviously would cut into my Jefferson love a little bit. I'm okay with Worthy. I'm okay with DK. I'm okay with Fannin. Is there anything you would change here, or would you want to try hard to get different?
I would change a lot. I mean, I'm okay with DK because I think he's too cheap.
Yeah.
I'm not into Worthy. I think Jones is mediocre. It's a good spot. It's just not that exciting.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, I think McBride, maybe taking him out and seeing what happens. Just because it leaves you very thin. You're forced into these questionable chalk plays like Worthy. I see Hollywood Brown on the left, really jamming into a lot of lineups. I don't really want to do that.
Right.
It's pretty tough.
I wonder what if we went and got
Brissett plus Wilson and saving at tight end is not a bad idea.
What about this? Let's run that. That'll be the last thing we do here. see what a cheap ass TJ Hawkinson opens up for us a little bit. I'm hoping they still give us the Jets defense. I should have just locked that in, to be honest. Not that I want to be locked fully into the Jets and play them everywhere, but 2.1 defense with a reasonable path to success is what you like to do in these situations. But yeah, like I said before, okay, that's fair. Okay, yeah, Darnell Washington, that's a big no for me, but we would get St. Brown with that Lion stack, and we would get Bijan. That's nice. I don't mind that. Still stuck on Worthy. Stack. I'm fine with Worthy, but it's not like chalk that I'm excited to eat. And I don't really want to play Darnell Washington. So I would probably mess around with that. I think the Bijan thing is interesting, but I would probably go to Achane instead. So we actually have a different piece in this lineup, because this is a lot of chalk so far. You know? I mean, Darnell at 3% isn't going to be chalky, I'll tell you that.
What's the lineup below it?
No, we got Bijan, Sutton, Juwan Johnson. Juwan feels better than Darnell. Yeah, I like this one better as well. I still
up for defense.
You can certainly play Bijan, and then I'll look stupid, but Achane at the ownership just feels like a more compelling tournament play for sure. Then you're paying up for I would not do that. I'd drop down here, maybe go up over Worthy, go get Ted McMillan or something. That's 1.4, yeah.
I don't mind paying for a defense, against Shedeur Sanders and an ineffective offense.
Yeah, I mean, if you do want points from your defense, if you can get them. If you can get 20 fancy points from your defense, that is pretty nice. Okay, this is almost an hour. It is a lot of fun. Hopefully it adds value to whoever's watching it. If it does, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, come join us in Discord. All those things help us out a lot, and hopefully we can help you too. If you want GPP picks, cash game picks, stacks, and our survey from everybody at the site, you can head over to dfsbuild.com if you don't go there already. And just for $5.99 a month, you get access to all that every week for NFL, and then everything, or the daily NBA picks as well. Thanks for watching, and good luck this week.